He threw away 10 years of marriage for a woman he thought was a billionaire's princess. On the day he signed the divorce papers, he looked at his wife and laughed. "You will never, ever be in her league." 30 days later, that same man stood frozen in a ballroom of 500 people while the woman he abandoned walked down the grand staircase wearing the crown he spent a decade chasing. This is the story of how one man traded a queen for a mirage and lost everything when the mirage disappeared. 12 years ago, a 22-year-old girl stepped out of the private jet her father owned and made a decision that would change her life forever. Aisha Rahman, the only child of billionaire Mr. Rahman, founder of Rahman Tech Empire, looked at the world waiting to worship her name and said, no, she wanted to know what it felt like to be loved for who she was, not what she owned. So she cut her hair short, wore simple clothes, rented a tiny apartment, and enrolled in university under her mother's maiden name. No bodyguards, no driver, just Aisha. That's where she met Kareem. Tall, sharp-eyed, always talking about the millions he was going to make one day. He was magnetic. He told her on their first coffee date, "I'm going to build an empire, Aisha, and I need a woman who believes in me." She believed. She fell hard. 6 months later, they were married in a small mosque with 20 guests and a simple gold ring she paid for with her cafe savings. Kareem never asked where the extra money came from when rent was due. He just kissed her and said, "See, we're unstoppable together." The first 5 years were beautiful. Aisha woke up at 5 to cook his favorite malokia before he left for meetings. When his first startup almost collapsed, $50,000 mysteriously appeared in the company account the same week. Kareem called it investor luck. Aisha called it love. When the second startup bled money, 200,000 landed silently. Again, luck. She never took credit. She watched him stand on stages accepting Young Entrepreneur of the Year awards while she clapped louder than anyone in the room. Year 6, things changed. Kareem started coming home late, smelling of expensive perfume that wasn't hers. He stopped kissing her goodnight. He looked at her cotton dresses and sighed. "Aisha, don't you want more? Don't you want to look like the wife of a future billionaire?" She smiled softly and said, "I already have everything I want." He rolled his eyes. Then Rahman Tech announced the search for a new vice president, and everything fell apart. The press release said the CEO's daughter, Layla Rahman, would personally select her future husband from the final candidates. The internet exploded. Every ambitious man in the country sharpened his suit and practiced his smile. Kareem became possessed. He spent hours staring at Layla's photos, gorgeous, dripping in diamonds, standing on yachts. "That," he told his friends over drinks, "is the kind of woman I deserve." Aisha saw the messages first. "Good night, beautiful. Thinking of you in that red dress. Can't wait to spoil you the way you were born to be spoiled." Her chest felt like it was cracking open. She waited for him on the couch until 3 in the morning. When he walked in, she held up the phone and asked, voice shaking, "Who is she?" Kareem didn't even flinch. He snatched the phone, scrolled, and laughed. Actually laughed. "You're spying on me now? Aisha, look at yourself. Look at our life. Small apartment, your old car, your same 5 dresses for 10 years. I'm about to touch the sky, and you're trying to chain me to the ground." Tears rolled down her face. She begged, "Kareem, we have history. We have memories. Please don't do this." He packed a suitcase that same night. 2 weeks later, he slid the divorce papers across the kitchen table like they were a business contract. "Sign it, Aisha. I'm doing you a favor. You'll find some nice, simple guy who wants a simple life. That's never been me." She stared at the pen in her trembling hand. 10 years of memories flashed. The night he proposed under the stars, the way he used to carry her to bed when she fell asleep studying, the promises whispered in the dark. She signed. Her tears blotted the ink. He didn't even wait for the ink to dry. He stood up, adjusted his new luxury watch, the one Layla gifted him, and said the words that would haunt him forever. "Don't worry, I'll transfer some money so you don't struggle too much. I'm not heartless." Then he looked around the apartment one last time and smirked. "Enjoy your little life, Aisha. Mine is finally starting." The door closed. She slid to the floor, clutching their old wedding photo, the one where he was looking at her like she was the only woman in the world. She cried until there was nothing left. Then she picked up her phone, dialed a number she hadn't called in 10 years, and spoke for the first time with the voice of the woman the world had never met. Yes, it's me. Schedule the gala for exactly 30 days from today. I'm done hiding. She hung up, wiped her face, and for the first time in a decade, Aisha Rahman looked in the mirror and saw the queen staring back. 30 days. He thought he had won everything. In 30 days, he would discover he had thrown away the only thing that ever mattered. But that's a story for the next part. Because the moment the entire world discovered who Aisha Rahman really was, well, let's just say Kareem's fairy tale turned into the most expensive nightmare money couldn't buy. 30 days later, Kareem was living inside the dream he bragged about for years. A 7-bedroom villa on the most expensive hill in the city, a matte black Lamborghini in the driveway, and a diamond the size of a hazelnut on Layla's finger. Every morning he woke up, took a selfie with the skyline behind him, and posted it with captions like "Zero to Empire in record time" and "Never settle kings." The comments exploded. Fire emojis, congratulations, men calling him a legend, women begging for his secrets. He read them while drinking $1,000 coffee and laughed. He had made it. He had finally escaped the ordinary. The engagement party was set for the same night as Rahman Tech's annual gala. Kareem didn't care that the dates clashed. His event was private, exclusive, invitation only. He told Layla, "Let the employees have their little company party. Tonight the world celebrates us." She giggled and kissed him. She still had no idea the game was rigged from the start. 8 o'clock. The convoy of 6 white Rolls-Royces pulled up to the grandest hotel in the country. Paparazzi screamed his name. Kareem stepped out in a midnight blue tuxedo stitched with real gold thread, Layla clinging to his arm in a dress that cost more than most people's houses. Cameras flashed like lightning. He paused at the top of the red carpet, lifted Layla's hand with the ring, and told the reporters, "I left a simple life behind to build a legendary one. Tonight you're looking at the future king and queen of this empire." Inside, crystal chandeliers dripped light over 500 of the richest people on Earth. Kareem walked through them like he already owned the air they breathed. He shook hands, accepted compliments, whispered to billionaires, "Soon I'll be sitting at the main table permanently." Every laugh, every toast, every clink of champagne tasted like victory. Then the lights dimmed without warning. A single spotlight hit the top of the marble staircase. The room fell silent. A voice everyone recognized, the official announcer of Rahman Tech for 20 years, boomed through the speakers. "Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time in history, the true owner, chairperson, and majority shareholder of Rahman Tech Empire, the woman who has quietly controlled 52% of this company for the past 10 years, the real heiress, Mrs. Aisha Rahman." The spotlight moved down the stairs, and there she was, not the quiet woman in cotton dresses he threw away. This Aisha wore a black gown cut from fabric that shimmered like the night sky, diamonds around her neck worth more than entire countries, hair swept up like a crown. Every step she took was slow, deliberate, powerful. The room held its breath. Phones rose like a wave. Kareem's champagne glass slipped from his fingers and shattered on the marble. She reached the stage, took the microphone, and the giant screens behind her lit up with her real signature, the one that appeared on every contract, every billion-dollar deal for the last decade. Aisha Rahman, chairperson, and so. Her voice was calm, almost gentle, but it carried to the back row. 10 years ago, I married a man who swore he would love me forever. I hid who I was because I wanted to be chosen for my heart, not my bank account. Every time his companies were about to die, I saved them with my own money and let him take the applause. Every award he won, every magazine cover that called him a genius, I paid for in silence. I cooked for him, waited for him, loved him while he looked past me and dreamed of a richer woman. The screens changed. Bank transfers, hundreds of them. Dates, amounts, account numbers, all flowing from hidden accounts bearing her name into Kareem's companies. Millions upon millions. The crowd started whispering, then gasping. She continued, eyes locked on Kareem, who hadn't moved an inch. "You search for the CEO's daughter so you could feel like a king. There was never a Layla Rahman heiress. My father created that story before he died. He wanted to see if any man would love his daughter without the crown. Only one man got close enough to marry me. And 30 days ago, he looked me in the eyes and said I wasn't enough. Layla's face twisted. She ripped the engagement ring off her finger and threw it at Kareem's chest. You used me. You're nothing. She stormed off the red carpet while cameras chased her. Aisha lifted a single sheet of paper. This document returns every share I secretly gifted him over the years back to my name. Effective immediately, his net worth is exactly what it was the day we met. 0. She signed it with a flourish. The screens flashed, transaction complete. The room erupted, some in shock, some actually cheering. Kareem finally found his legs. He stumbled forward, felt his knees right there on the marble in front of the world. Aisha, Habibdi, I made a mistake. Please, I love you. I always loved you. Forgive me. The microphone caught every word. Live streams hit 10 million viewers in minutes. Aisha looked down at him, the man who once carried her books across campus, who promised her the stars, who mocked her tears 30 days ago. No, Kareem, she said softly. You didn't love me. You loved the idea of escaping me. And you succeeded. Enjoy the freedom you wanted so badly. She turned, the diamonds catching the spotlight one last time, and walked away. The crowd parted like the Red Sea for their real queen. 6 months later, the villa was gone, repossessed. The Lamborghini was auctioned. Every friend vanished. Kareem moved back into the same cramped one-bedroom apartment he started in, now with internet that never stopped reminding him who he lost. Memes called him the man who divorced a billionaire. Job interviews into the moment they Googled his name. He ate alone, stared at the same four walls, and for the first time in his life understood the weight of real emptiness. Aisha, she launched the Rahman Foundation, giving scholarships to girls who wanted to code, build, dream bigger than the men who try to shrink them. She traveled on her yacht whenever she felt like it, laughed louder than she ever had, and never wore cotton dresses again unless she wanted to. She finally lived out loud, on her terms, surrounded by people who saw her before they saw the money. And every now and then, when someone asked if she ever missed him, she smiled the smile of a woman who won without lowering herself to revenge. No, she said. I didn't lose a husband. I finally found myself. Karma doesn't always scream. Sometimes she just walks down a staircase in diamonds and lets the truth do the talking.